Hey guys, so right now we are looking into my garden, and in front of me we have one of my Japanese maple trees. This is the Grape Leaf Japanese maple tree. It has lost a majority of its leaves, sad to say. I want to say it lost almost all its leaves within the past couple of days here because of all the rain. So I might just have a little bit of footage previous to this losing its leaves, and if I do, I'll probably add it on the screen so you can see it. And it was just, I want to say 2 or 3 days ago when it had still a lot of leaves. Moving on to the next Japanese maple tree, we have the No Shime Uchi, I believe. It's a hard name to remember, but this one turns a bit orange and I love it. You know, it's a smaller Japanese maple tree. It doesn't get too large. It actually has been in ground for, I want to say, a good 2.5 years now. Unlike some of the other Japanese maple trees that have been in ground for 3+ years. As you can see, we have a Katsura there, and it's kind of coming close to it. So this is my Katsura that has been placed in ground, I want to say about almost 4 years ago. It's been 3 so far, but this is kind of the best color it's put on since putting it in ground, which is this nice orangey color, and I think it's pretty cool as well. And if I go further back, we kind of expose this first flame Japanese maple tree, one of the first Japanese maple trees I put in ground about a good 4 years ago, or almost 4. And it's supposed to reach about 20 to 25 foot tall within 10 years, which I think it should reach that, knowing or seeing that it's only been about 4 years. And currently this tree sits a good 14, maybe 13 foot tall, if not taller than that. Another Japanese maple tree I have here in the garden is the Osaka Zuki. Now, that's not to be confused with the Akam Osakazuki. The Akam Osakazuki versus the regular Osakazuki. They're two different. I swear, usually I get a little bit darker red on the just Osakazuki, and then the Akam Osakazuki, it's a bit more brighter, at least in my opinion, from year to year basis. One thing I also kind of get on the Akam Osakazuki rather than the Osakazuki that we have here is the leaves actually turn an olive green color during the spring months, where this one kind of just goes straight to kind of chartreuse to directly to dark green, rather than giving me all that brownish olivey color. Now here is the Akam Osakazuki. Now if you can see what I mean by, it's a little bit brighter than the actual just regular Osakazuki. This one gives a lot more life to its red color. Like, it's so vibrant, and it's always like this every year. And next year what we'll do is we'll show you guys what it looks like when it first emerges, because it's hard to explain, but the olivey green color is something interesting. It's kind of a brownie color, but I love it. It's so interesting to see. All right, this next tree unfortunately doesn't look its best, at least not like from past years. Past years, I've gotten a lot better color. Some of the leaves kind of browned a little bit because we did have a few frost here and there that kind of ruined the colors. But if you see down below, that's what we normally get if we don't get early frost like we did just this year. So because of the frost, it kind of ruined some of the outer colors for the leaves. And this tree in specific is a Isamasago. So I have past videos of this tree as well. Maybe I'll throw that on the screen so you can see the full-on color of that one, because we're not getting this bright orange and yellow color right now. At least it can be kind of deceiving since we have all this brown on the exterior from the frost. One of my favorite Japanese maple trees here in the garden is the Koto no Ito. This is the Harpstring Japanese maple tree. Now, I have seen other Harpstrings like in different gardens, and trust me, they look fantastic. Fortunate for me, I did get mine in ground, I want to say a good 2.5 years ago. So, I mean, it's not the largest in the world, but it's a slow grower and currently sits a good maybe 8 foot tall if we kind of look upward. Right now it's got brilliant colors of orange and red. If we stand back, it's kind of delicate. If we look back there too, you can see all the way back there, that's Benisukasa. Now, Benisukasa, it's an interesting Japanese maple tree in the fact that it does first emerge this pinkish orange color, which we will be doing a video on once spring comes around. But currently, as you can see, this Japanese maple tree is a lot red in color. And if we look to the interior of the tree, there's less red and more of this pinky color. So I'm guessing the more shade it gets in here, the less vibrant red it becomes. But you can also find that color on the side of the Japanese maple tree that does not receive the most sun, or that's kind of on the north side of it. If you can tell, it's a lot less red and more of this pinkish color. So I'm guessing if I give this a little bit more shade, it should be a little bit more pink. See the red color? It's like night and day from both sides of the Japanese maple tree. It's pretty cool. All right, this tree here is one of my favorite Japanese maple trees. This is Shindeshojo. It's only been in ground for a couple years now. And so far, every year, at least we get some of this orangey red color. At least a bit of oranges here, a bit of reds there. It's not consistent all around, but when this tree first emerges, at least when we get to do a video on it in the spring, you will see that this tree is going to be a bright pink color, kind of like the Benisukasa, although I think a little bit more lighter with the pink color, if not more vibrant red. It kind of depends from year to year, because I remember one year it was bright pink, and then the other it was a little bit darker pink color. I really want to go take a look at the Oshiobini down there, so we're gonna head over. I'm pretty sure you can already tell, but Oshiobini has lost the majority of its leaves so far. If we kind of look down, you can see all the leaf drop or leaf litter throughout this liriope. But what little we do have is very pretty. Usually this tree is a little more on the orange side during the summer months and the spring months, and then kind of ages to this red color that we're seeing now, which it's pretty interesting to see. It's not fully red, and you kind of still get the tinges of orange when you look from underneath the leaves, so that's super interesting. And if we look kind of further down the garden, there's actually a Tobi Oini down there, which we'll probably go take a look at that now. Tobi Oini has been in ground for a total of 4 years now. It's been in ground since we pretty much started the garden. And as you can see, it's not really that tall, at least compared to like some of the other trees that we put in ground. Mostly because it's a very slow grower, reaching, I believe it said, maybe 10 foot tall by about 8 foot wide within a 10-year range. I also do prune on this tree, so that could also contribute to a little bit of it not growing as fast as it possibly can, but I never take too much off. If you can see with the color here, it gives you like these fiery colors of orange and red, kind of a mixture of both. It looks like this tree is just completely on fire for right now. One honorable mention, although it's not a Japanese maple tree, this is a sugar maple, the Apollo sugar maple. I thought it was interesting to show this in the video because of the yellow, kind of yellow-orange colors that do appear on this tree during the fall. It kind of goes well with that red color in the background there from the Tobi Oini. Although it has lost majority of its leaves, it's still a sugar maple that kind of hangs to the leaves longer than some others. But moving on. So if we move further on to the side garden, you'll see that I have a orange dream Japanese maple tree, and my dog is barking. But this orange dream Japanese maple tree gets colors of yellow and orange during the fall time, but the best thing about this tree is in the springtime, it's bright orange, and it's kind of a different bright orange than the fall bright orange. It's something to see. I'm gonna do a video on it in the springtime. This one's one of my favorite Japanese maple trees here in the garden. It's also a dwarf Japanese maple tree, not really getting too tall nor too wide, very slow growing, does not like too much sun, would rather be in part shade or morning sun and then afternoon shade. Okay, this tree has only been in ground for this, or I think this is the second year it's in ground, so it hasn't done anything, honestly. I have not seen its fall color, but it's supposed to go completely bright yellow. Usually, at least from what I can tell from the previous year, it loses all its leaves before it even gets those colors. But for right now, I'm starting to see some of those yellowy colors on the tree. I'm not sure if it's going to make it to those fall colors before we keep getting all these frost that end up taking out the leaves. But this tree in specific is called the Shadiva Go, and you can kind of see where it got its name from. Shadiva Go, it's supposed to turn bright yellow and brighten up this spot. Now over here I have another Japanese maple tree, another dwarf. In fact, usually this tree looks nothing like this, and I haven't really got to see its fall color until this being the first year. We usually get a frost that takes out the leaves, but seeing as to how this is the first year seeing it in its fall color, I think this is fantastic. We have a bright reddish pink kind of color, and it's sparse on the tree because it did lose a lot of leaves. If I remember correctly, I think the name on this one is Nara Nishiki. And Nara Nishiki is kind of this variegated type that gets singes of yellow and white, I believe, on the leaves. So there's that. Now, this being a dwarf tree, it doesn't grow fast at all. Honestly, it's been in ground for 4 years, and if you can tell, it hasn't really gotten anywhere in 4 years. Especially not in width. And I don't really prune on this tree because it doesn't grow too fast, and it grows quite sparse. So I haven't done any pruning unless it was cutting out diseased or dead branches. One of the final Japanese maple trees to show you guys is this rising sun Japanese maple tree, and kind of like with some of the others where the more sun it gets, the more red it gets. I kind of see that displayed amongst this tree. So on portions of the tree that get a majority of sun, it's kind of this darkish red maroonish color. And then the further in you go into the tree, you'll see more bright oranges and a little bit of yellows. Oh, actually, I see a spot that we can kind of really show that off. And it's right here. So this portion gets a lot of shade from the other leaves over top of the canopy, causing it to be a lot more red or more orange and vibrant and yellow colors that kind of take over the tree rather than the dark maroons and reds. You can see it underneath this leaf as well, where it's gotten some shade. Now, unfortunately, guys, this was not all my Japanese maple trees. In fact, this isn't nowhere near. We just lost the majority of leaves on top of a lot of the Japanese maple trees from the frost, causing everything to drop. So there's that. I'm honestly just hoping that the next year will be a lot better. Oh, by the way, we didn't really show off this Emperor 1, but there's not much to look at. It kind of looks the same that it does throughout the year already. So, but I'll see you guys next time. Peace.